Hi, everyone, and good morning. Welcome to Good Morning Sunshine. I'm one of your co-hosts, Brandon Lee, alongside my good friend and colleague, Carey Pena, and today we are focusing on holistic health.
And we are happy to welcome into the studio Yolanda Rodriguez from Many Healing Hands. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate the time.
Let's delve in right away. What does holistic health mean to you?
Holistic health is actually a term that was coined in the 1970s by Dr. Garvey. She was one of the leaders in the field, and she's actually a resident of Arizona. And what they were looking at is how to provide health care in a way that focuses on the entire person, body, mind, soul, and the physical. So it incorporates all different types of health care, not just one specific method or one specific target in which health is addressed.
And full disclosure here, so Yolanda comes to the Center of Positive Media once a month, and it's part of my wellness for my own staff. So we do injections, vitamin injections, and we were talking about before we started rolling on the show today that, it was a huge fad, and I think there still is, right? We see all these like IV medics and, these IV clinics where you can go and, they basically are putting an IV into you with all these vitamins and the hydration and all that stuff. What's the difference between doing an IV drip versus doing a vitamin shot intramuscularly?
An intramuscular injection is more concentrated. It's actually the vitamins themselves injected into the muscle. And from there, the body absorbs it into the bloodstream. It goes throughout your entire body and is used where it is most needed. When you get an IV bag, that's fine, especially if you have not been hydrating. Then you'll get a concentration of vitamins inside the bag, and then that also goes throughout your body, but it's more about hydration at that point. So for me, I consider what I call an IV in a shot, a good strong intramuscular injection, a little more powerful, a little more efficient.
I've seen your menu and you offer a variety. What are the most beneficial for folks?
The one that's the basic that I recommend for most people is the Super B cocktail. And what that is vitamins B1, 2, 3, 5, 6, and 12. And it's the higher grade of vitamin called methylcobalamin as the form of B12, not cyanocobalamin. Cyanocobalamin is the synthetic version, and methyl is pulled down as the actually bioavailable. Another one is the triple power shot, and that is a very concentrated shot of vitamin C, zinc, and glutathione. And glutathione is one of the strongest antioxidants that we have. And vitamin C, everyone knows the health benefits of vitamin C for your immune system, and again, as an anti-aging protocol.
A lot of folks out there, they take vitamins, right? They're daily vitamins. I know I do. I do use Garden of Eden. And there's apps out there and there's a lot of research out there where they've actually studied the impacts of every kind of multivitamin out there and stuff. And they're not all created equally. Why is that?
That's true. It really depends on the ethics and the values of the company that has been producing these items. There's some like Garden of Eden, and then also Standard Process, who have had their own farms for generations. We're talking 100 years of caretaking the land and ensuring that the processes of growing the crops to pull these vitamins and nutrients from is organic and clean and targeted for what you need.
And how much your body will absorb.
Absolutely, which really depends on the availability of your body's function in your GI system.
What would be the piece of advice you would leave the audience with about considering this whole person care? A lot of people, they have a backache, they're dealing with that. Or, a lot of folks we report on have mental health issues. But these things all tie together. So what is your piece of advice? What do you want people to take away from your segment?
Well, I would like people to understand that there is a key word that they can use when they think about taking care of their body holistically, and that's recovery. And when we talk about recovery, we're not just talking about addictions and alcoholism. We're also talking about long-term chronic stress, like being stuck in your house for 2 years and not able to go out and socialize. So we're talking about recovery from those types of things. We're talking about recovery from long-term illnesses, or we're talking about recovery from everyday stress and just pollution and traffic and those types of things. we're looking at the mental health aspects too. So we do know that scientifically that the vitamins have been used and identified in 500 different processes in the body. That's science speaking. What we know from people speaking is they feel better with it, and they feel stronger, and their mind is sharper, and they can do more things, and their pain is reduced. So it is truly a holistic form of treatment, in my opinion.
Thank you so much for being here.
Absolutely.
It's perfect that you said the word recovery, because we have one of the co-founders from Recovery in the Pines coming up here in just a few minutes. We appreciate you and the work that you're doing to help people get healthier, mind,
Thank
body,
you so
spirit.
much. I really appreciate it, and anything I can do to help.
And now to our inspired story. This is a clip from a podcast that I did with Dr. Stacy Stevenson. She wrote a book called Vibrant. She talks a lot about whole person care, holistic health. And here she's talking about how to detoxify from the inside out.
I do want to make the point that detoxification is literally, it's taking out the garbage. So anything that comes in to your body that is not a food, vitamin, mineral, macronutrient, so your carbohydrates, your proteins, your fats, medications, anything that you're breathing in that you can't assimilate or utilize in your body, it has to go through a natural, normal process, predominantly driven by the liver, but also intensely associated with kidneys and digestive system as well. There is a process whereby those it's almost not even fair to always call them toxins, but they're non-food particles. They literally have to cleanse through, and you have to take out the garbage. So your liver is designed to do this, and other components of your body are designed to do this. So remember that when we talk about detoxification, we're either upregulating something that your body needs to do more of because it's overburdened and sluggish, or you've been overly exposed to something and you just have a lot more garbage to take out, and you need to help your body and move that along. But at the end of the day, remember that detoxification and removal of the garbage from your body is happening every minute of every day, all the time.
Dr. Stacy Stevenson there in her podcast series, recorded in our Inspired Media 360 studios, and she did well with that book. She's got a second one coming out now.
Yeah, when she comes out, we got to have her on the show.
Yeah, we'll have her on the show. She's always traveling, but she does practice what she preaches. So I love hearing all about what she eats and how she lives her own day-to-day holistic life.
I love it.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to continue our conversation about holistic health and holistic care. And one of the co-founders and the co-owners of Recovery in the Pines, a treatment center located up in Prescott, Arizona, Doug Dolan, is here in studio with us today. It's good to have you here.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
So we're talking about Recovery in the Pines. One of the large foundations of your treatment center is based in holistic care. Not every treatment center is based in that. So what does that mean, holistic care, when it comes to recovery?
Yeah, one of the things that we look at is we're multidimensional beings. So we have to help somebody recover mentally, emotionally, physically, and spiritually. We also look at, are there more natural ways than pharmaceutical ways to help people heal? What are things we can do relative to sleep, exercise, nutrition, other aspects like that?
And you've recovered from your own battle with alcoholism. Talk about some of the ways that you live your life day to day that have helped you stay sober. And not only sober, but I watch your social media, and you're out there really doing some things that make you feel joy in the way that you live your life.
Right. Yeah, so some of the different things that I do, so if I look at mentally, I always set goals for myself. So this year, one of the goals that I have is to complete 24 books. I also do other studying, podcasts, things of that nature, but 24 books I focus on. Emotionally, it's understanding how do I live a healthy emotional life in my connections and interactions, whether that's with my families, with friends, things of that nature. When it comes to the physical, I also have some very specific goals. I'm doing a rim to rim at the Grand Canyon is one this year. And then up in Prescott, we have a thing called the Ultra Triple Crown, where you do 3 peaks, Spruce Mountain, Thumb Butte, and Granite Mountain, which is a total of 18 miles, but the Ultra version adds another 20 miles of pathways to that. So of the standard version, I've already done 9. But I'm aiming for the ultra, so there are just certain physical things that I do every day. Also, tracking nutrition is very important, as well as my water intake. So I do things of that nature. And then spiritually, some of that is in the studies that I do. It's also in my Christian faith, but it's how I practice it every day. Because one of the things that's very important for holistic health is not to just know it, but to go do it. You have to go do something.
Yes. And it sounds like for you, really goal setting and pushing yourself year to year keeps things interesting and keeps you really gut checking where you are as a human being.
You know, it's so with the work that I do in mental health and substance abuse, we deal with the heaviest of situations. You have significant trauma, you have abuse, you have neglect, you have aspects physically, mentally, emotionally, that spiritually people are struggling. I better be working on something for me to be able to be healthy to do that work, because I've seen in this industry, it can really burn people out. It can make them apathetic. It can make them sick. And so I work on me partially because of that, but I work on me too because I do enjoy it. You know, I really do. The balance that it brings to me, and it's very important to set goals, because how do you go after something if you don't know what you're aiming at? Most people, the days will pass by. They want better health, but if you don't define it, if you don't set certain things of why do you want that and how are you going to dose it out basically to yourself, you'll never get there.
And then radical accountability, holding yourself accountable. So you use that you use the app, don't you? Because I use the Simple app also. Because you put that data in there, and all of a sudden you're like, oh, I thought I did well yesterday, but apparently not.
Well, and the other thing too is I think a lot of people, I think the gym's a great analogy, right? People want to get bigger. You know, they set a goal like, oh, I want to get bigger, or I want to lose weight, so I want to go to the gym. And you can't just go to the gym for a couple weeks and expect those results to even happen or to be long lasting. And I think that's one of the unique things too, that what makes Recovery in the Pines so unique, even in the treatment world, is that, their program is a year long. So it's not like you're just being introduced to modalities or being introduced to the 4 pillars of what, the holistic care is. You're introduced to it, you learn it, you study it, you implement it, and you're doing that for a year long. So that when you leave, it's just part of you now.
Absolutely. One of the benefits that we have, so when it comes to health and wellness, our health and wellness director, Joey Powell, owns a gym there, Drive RX, and he's very specific about the physical routines of what he's going to take people through in consultation with our medical team, because people come in all kinds of busted up shape, and we don't want to do any harm. And so he and his wife, Andrea, are fantastic. The way we've seen people heal physically, and that's usually what we'll see. Most people will get into action of initially, right. And it raises their spirit, it clears their mind, too, right, helps them heal some spiritually so they can then get into the counseling and the other work that they need to do.
Doug, thank you so much. Where can people find out more?
Go to Recovery in the Pines website, so it's recoveryinthepines.com. You can also see, I post a daily challenge every day, which I work on as well, and some of the aspects of what I do physically up on my Facebook page and LinkedIn. So you can find me on Facebook at Douglas Dolan, also at LinkedIn at Douglas.
Yeah, you got me with
the
challenges.
Yeah.
But I thought I was doing good this week until I saw Doug up there on the mountain doing all the peaks. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Doug.
Appreciate it. And we always close things out with our sunshine segments.
Yes. What can we do at home to help us make us feel better in our daily lives and also heal the space around us that we're living in? Our executive producer, Christina, is here with us today. Good to see you here, and I see you brought your Theragun.
Yes, I did. So when we were talking about this holistic healing, it brought me back to an interview I did a while ago about how to create a healing home. And I didn't think about my home in that way. And now I'm all about it. And I love a good self-care routine. And not even just a routine, but like when you walk into your space, whether it's at work or at home or my friend's house if you're there a lot, what's gonna make you feel your best? And there's so many things you can buy, which I just love. So I brought a couple of my goodies, and some of them have been gifts. So like this one is like a clean burn candle because if you're warm, and like that's just a nice meditation. Brandon noticed earlier the Theragun is there.
Yes.
And I know it's awkward to use it like this to yourself, but I actually use mine on like my face because I hold my attention there. So I put it at the lightest setting, obviously. I'm not gonna like jam my teeth. But it just loosens it all up and the stress just kind of limps, those lymphatic drainage happens. We've got some cozy socks. Oh, I brought my blankie because that's always a nice warm snuggle effect. I have some linen spray. I'm a big mask girl. And then Brandon, you got me the one at the far end. What is that?
So this is the best. So one of my clients actually makes this from scratch in her own kitchen.
I love that.
It's an Aura Cleanse Spritz, and it contains ceremonial white sage, sweetgrass, lavender, distilled water, and Palo Santo essential oil.
It smells so good.
And
Yes.
I'm gonna have to take a picture of your guys' office because, of course, you don't just work together, you also work together outside of the
Yes.
show. And if you look, it's like a good spa in there. So what
Yeah.
are some of the items that you both have?
Well, sensory is everything to me, right? So it plays a huge role in how we feel and our moods. So I have one of the hotel collection diffusers. So it smells like your favorite hotel.
It does.
You know, when you're in the lobby, like it immediately, like everybody who walks in, they're like,
Yeah,
right,
they
it
love
already
our
up,
office.
they're like,
Yeah.
God, this smells so good in here. And I also am a huge believer of crystals. So I have a huge amethyst in there as well.
Yes, crystals, and we have sage,
Yes.
and you guys have that salt lamp.
and we have a salt lamp.
Yeah, well, you have the salt lamp on your desk. I
only fit
don't know
so
if
much
I'm a
stuff.
believer of those things. It just looks like an orange glowy light to me, but apparently the salt that
It's the ions
out
that
of
it emits
yes.
to level out the peaceful energy. Come on,
But I think
Brandon.
it's really important that we create a space,
Yes.
you know, that makes us feel comfortable,
Yeah.
right? That is that. And that's why, like, sometimes you walk into these people's houses and it's so sterile, you know? It's just like all white. It's very minimalist, but it's very, very sterile. And it's like, I don't know how that's
They need to bring
comfortable.
Christina over, and it will no
she'll
longer
bring her
be so.
blanket
Yeah,
and
she'll
her
bring her
Theragun. She'll come over
blankie.
and tap you onto the face with that thing.
Oh yeah. And then
you.
you know, just it's nice to be able to feel like you're in control of your own environment. So if you do have a headache, you know, you can use something that's not a pill. You can use essential oil, or if
Yeah.
you do, if you just need to zen out. I mean, I love my masks, so I just have that handy, and so it just changes my mood immediately.
Immediately.
It's so easy to have in your own home.
Love it.
Love it.
It's good that self-care is a trend.
Love it.
Thank you, Christina. Thanks to
welcome.
all of you for watching Good Morning Sunshine.
And since you're here on YouTube, go ahead, hit that little bell notification symbol right there. Click on that, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Every time we upload a new episode, you'll get a notification. We'll see you back here for the next episode of Good Morning Sunshine.